inside your very soul. My life is pretty plain. I like watching the bottom.
Welcome back again to Spirituality with a Spin, and I am Ryan Keys, your host. And right now, we're going to talk about something close to the heart. I had a moment in my life, and I'm going to get personal, and a memory came up. And I realized that I was linked to a portion of an unresolved piece of my past. I am a conscious being. I do my best to operate this 3D experience, this body, as best I can. I come to you in a fourth dimensional state of being, state of mind, when I'm talking, counseling, doing readings. I'm coming from this place of empathic awareness, love, kindness, giving, and an awareness. Calling out to the consciousness, embracing that consciousness, inviting my ancestors and spirit guides to come into this conversation or my show, my readings, whatever it might be, to give me insight and intuition, which is me reaching out to through the fourth dimension, through heart and soul and source, through my crown chakra, out to the fifth dimension, opening up a conduit of awareness, oneness, and allness, a higher consciousness. I'm not one for labels. I'm not one for trying to say whether something is true and this exists and it's called this or not, because I believe source is cyclical. It's a cycle. It's coming around, and it comes in different shapes, sizes, colors, and names. So what I say could be said by other people. What Shakespeare says was said by sages before. Everything will be coming like spring, winter, fall, summer, all the time, or turnover. But the one thing that we face in life that is so difficult to break the cycle, the pattern, are those little pieces of our past that we tuck in our pocket or hide them away under the bed. And I came across this week of a little part of my past, and it makes me aware of a place mark in my life. But at the time, I felt it was the only decision. It was me trying to live what I felt was my truth at that point. And the only reason why I'm talking about this is because I feel if it affected me, and the way it affected me, and how I am now, can give us insight into how we can let things go, and how we can move forward, and how you can utilize the 4 agreements, and how you can utilize these transitions to go from a 3D basic being to an aware, more conscious, co-creative being. When I was 26 years old, I was full of life, and I was partying and promiscuous and very self-centered, ego-driven, going into acting, all about me, self-fulfilling, self-gratifying. And I got into this situation with a girl that I had been going out with and living with, and she got pregnant. And that news stabbed me right in the heart. Because where I was operating at that moment of my life was so dogmatic and so instinct-driven, fight or flight, self-driven. The me was all I could see, not looking beyond anything other than, I need to do this, and this is in my way, and this isn't what I want, and this is inconvenient for who I am. So I made a decision with her as well, because both of us, birds of a feather flock together. We were resonating at the same me levels, right? No one's fault, just how it is, how it was. And we went to Planned Parenthood, and we sat there, and we went through the speech, and we proceeded with an abortion. And I'm sorry. And I have moved forward in life so much. But that was a piece of me that was hidden, and I didn't realize it until this week. I had tucked it away. It was a piece of shame, a piece of guilt, where I felt I had done something that was so selfish and so wrong that I couldn't bear to see it. And I can't even find a place at that point to explain why I would have been there, why I chose that. But I did, and it was done, and I moved forward and became who I am now. The past has a way of holding us back without us even perceiving it. So when my beautiful friends and my beautiful followers that you are listening to this, and you have a pattern that is punishing you repeatedly, and this pattern that I had that was planted by that seed so far long ago was a pattern of insecurity. It established this part of me where I felt that I was a failure. And I'm not. I've done so many things since then that have redefined me, have changed me, and I'm a continual work in progress, as all of us are. And I sought out forgiveness of myself in that situation and for that experience. And I realized that everything happens for a reason, nothing is a mistake. So for me to have held on to that, preventing me from being as connected as I could be to people in my life, my experience and everything that had come to that culmination, wanted to be in that event to experience this moment. But as we were talking about patterns, I had so many wonderful people email me, and I wanted to say, sometimes to break a pattern, that pattern was based on something in your past that was holding the most smallest of areas, but when it was touched upon, was huge. It went from a speck of sand to a boulder in the blink of an eye. It had prevented me from addressing the complete level of strength that I can bring to bear when it comes to being my best self, and I was repeating that pattern. Now, when I set out to do my 365-day Change My Life Challenge on May 23rd of this 2016, I knew it was going to be difficult. I knew that doing something different every day, that nudging myself into the now, doing silent meditation, changing my diet, changing my exercise regime, changing how I see things, redefining myself, practicing what I've preached for years, trying to speak with my impeccable truth, even if it doesn't necessarily sit well with someone else. I do it with dignity and I do it with empathy, but I still have to do it. And all those changes that I've made, I was still having some things were repeating in the past, and I just discovered that this week. You can know everything. You can have all the knowledge in the world. I can have read 1,000 books. I can have studied 1,000 hours. But one tiny little thing, one tiny moment that means a huge amount in your life that you don't know because you've hidden it and you don't want to look at it, could be hindering you. So when we are looking at the repetition of patterns, Whether it's you drink too much, or you party too much, or you can't sleep, or you sabotage relationships, or you allow people to treat you bad, or you victimize yourself, or you victimize other people. Whatever it is that is repetitious in your life, that is causing chaos, that is not allowing you to be resonating a divine purpose in the present moment right now. We have to figure that out. You have to begin to forgive yourself. You have to begin to look at those things. We have a habit of not paying attention to how we express ourselves. We have a habit that when we respond to something, it's just automatic. When we open our mouth, it's automatic, because we've learned these habits from years of living agreements that were taught to us that weren't true. From not living consciously, from not choosing our words, understanding the emotions that are associated with a word or a situation, or understanding the attitude that we express when we say something. If we say something harsh and we don't even see it, our mind's filled with the beliefs that generate this kind of incessant thinking that is just random and monotonous. We make assumptions even though we're not aware of what it is that we're assuming. We imagine and we assume that what someone might think about me or what I might say, and then I react based on that. So then we begin to assume judgments and self-criticism, and that self-criticism isn't constructive, it is destructive, and it becomes our truth. And by the time we've learned to make so many assumptions that we aren't even aware of, we're living someone else's life. This is a school, my friends. This is an online course that we are all signed up for, and it goes from birth to death, and it is self-paced, self-tested, self-graded. And when you get to that final, if you fail, it's because you didn't study and you weren't truthful when you graded your own papers. And at the end, nobody's going to care if you passed or failed, because everybody's so consumed with their own test, their own courses. They are head down, not looking around. They're not able to see anything because they live in this state of fear, afraid to be them, afraid to get past the judgment, afraid to open up their opinions, open up their ideas beyond what they might be with other people, because of fear that they won't be accepted. I want to read you something by Dr. Joyce Brothers, which is pertinent to what we're talking about, because we're trying to reestablish the basics for the body, the protocol to get past the patterns. Quote, "Love comes when manipulation stops. When you think more about the other person than about his or her reactions to you. When you dare to reveal yourself fully. When you dare to be vulnerable. Then you find the value." End quote. Just because you adopt the 4 agreements, or just because you want to go 4D, or just because you want your twin flame, or just because you want to be enlightened, or just because you've found Buddhism, or whatever it might be, doesn't mean that the habits and the tape that's rolling in your mind will stop. The only thing that will change that tape that's playing is begin to understand that this online course called life that you started taking when you kicked and screamed and grabbed your first breath of life when you came into this world from that wonderful womb, and you're going to fight and go forward every step, moving forward, not waiting for anything, not going backwards for anything. The universe doesn't have reverse. Put that on if somebody wants to put that on something for me, a picture that you're inspired for, email it to me and I'll post it on my social media. The universe doesn't have a reverse, Ryan Keyes, because that's a good one. The universe doesn't have a reverse. So when you understand this lesson that you're learning, these tests that you're taking, that you're self-grading as you go, only you are going to overcome. Only you are going to understand every moment is a moment that is a moving meditation of breath and of becoming. Only you will begin to understand that your DNA hears what you say. Only you will begin to understand that the observer affects the observation. Only you will understand that you are no longer local and bound by being linear, and that when you cry because of something in the past, do you see the magic of non-linear time in effect on that moment? When you can listen to a song and it can take you back like a time traveler, sweet Lord, go back to LL Cool J, going back to Cali, to Cali, to Cali. And that's reminded me of when I didn't have any dates in high school, when I was a little nerd sitting in the stairway eating by myself, getting beat up by girls. But it takes me back like a time machine, emotionally, spiritually, senses, everything. I can feel it, see it, sense it. Yes, that's how we live, non-linear. Only the body is linear. So as you're learning these lessons in life, as you go forward, taking these tests, learning this lesson, this online course, because you're online and inline, you're moving forward. You're a force of nature, my friends. Everything goes forward. Everything doesn't go a day backwards. It goes ahead. Even when you're listening to this moment, it's already the moment before or the moment after. I'm tongue-tied now. But everybody's wondering what's going on. Everybody's wondering when they're going to get their answer. Everybody's wondering when they're going to get their break. You did. You are your own teacher. You are your own principal. You are the student. You are the guy that is sitting there, or the girl that is sitting there studying, preparing for a test that you're going to take, that you already know the questions and answers to, and then you're going to sit down and grade it. And if you studied, the only one that's going to be in trouble is you, because you're also the one that punishes you. You are the embodiment of all. And then when you begin to see the nonlinear lingo and how that language is set up, when you can, if you can, get past that Western mindset, get past that white picket fence and those boundaries that are set up by what people expect, if you can get into some of that toe tapping wisdom, speaking from a place of impeccability into what you say, expecting what you say to be said, not pulling back just because somebody's going to not like it, but you say it with respect. Because you're about living your best, being your best, showing your best, sharing your best of what you are. There's another quote that this reminds me of by Anne Morrow that's fabulous. I do not believe that sheer suffering teaches. If suffering alone taught, all the world would be wise, since everyone suffers. To suffering must be added mourning, understanding, patience, love, openness, willingness to remain vulnerable. And that's what I was with you all. I was vulnerable. Now, do you know what vulnerable is? A direct conduit to the 4D. Oh, wow. I just got goosebumps running up my back and my spine. We'd be seeing orbs if I was on video right now. Take that in, people. That was a powerful quote from that woman. I'm going to read it again. I do not believe that sheer suffering teaches. If suffering alone taught, all the world would be wise, since everyone suffers. To suffering must be added mourning, understanding, patience, love, openness, and the willingness to remain vulnerable. And that's why I came forward, and that's why I broke a pattern this week, a pattern of feeling inferior, that I wouldn't be able to bring all my force to bear to be a baby daddy, to be a good dad. And it guided me in and out of relationships over the past years, and making decisions that were made that had to be made, but they were not always a direct reflection of my true self. I wasn't living impeccably, for sure. May 23rd of this year, trying to practice everything that I am focused on, trying to apply my true Toltec wisdom. You have to make a stand. I went back in my life's test, in this online course of life's purpose. I went back. I was up into like the college test, and I said, you know what? I skipped a couple grades, so I'm going to go back and learn. And that's what I've been doing. I went back and started learning. And I started learning that I am what I eat. So I need to eat things that are bringing life to my body. If I'm poisoning my body, nobody's to blame but me. You are what you listen to. If you're listening to 432 megahertz meditation solfeggio music, you're reconditioning the body and the brain to vibrate at a very similar frequency. helping to realign the water in your cells, helping to open up that nuclei so that it can start generating with that RNA, and those DNA can start making new cells and regenerating. You are what you say. If I go around telling people I'm a loser and I'm never going to make it, self-fulfilled prophecy. I'm manifesting some shit I don't want to come about, honestly. So don't jump on trains. Don't jump on bandwagons. You speak from a place of beauty, a place of truth, a place of human beingness. You come from a place of oneness. We are all here for the same reasons, for the same goals, to do the same things, defined with the same purpose. Whether you feel your purpose is solely to be with your twin in 3D, 4D, 5D, I don't know. But I would hope that you could pull your head up a little bit and look to the higher calling of what this is about. It's a call from the Creator to co-create in a state of consciousness. It's not just about us. It's about all of us. It's not just about me and what I see. It's about all of us. Open up your mind. Learn to be vulnerable. Understand that you are what you eat, you are what you see, you are what you say, you are what you do, you are what you hear. And those things affect your body directly. And that part of your body that is affected cannot become its best self, which will propel you into a fourth dimensional style of operation and being able to function in that regularly. You don't poison your body. You don't lay about. You don't. It's very simple. We've got, it's 1 + 1 = 2. If you do this, this happens. If I know if I eat a lot of salt, I'm going to hold water. I'm going to feel bloated. I know that from the dental field, if I don't brush my teeth, I'm going to get gum disease, and my teeth are going to fall out. You've got cause and effect, karma, and everything that we're experiencing in the body is karmic. Everything. It doesn't matter, twin flame, soulmate, father, mother, dad, brother, dog, car not starting, it's all karmic. And Dharma is your karma. As you know, that's my motto. Dharma is your karma. Do your Dharma. Do your duty to yourself, your family, your friends, your community, your world, and your Creator. Understand that only you are taking this test. Only you are grading this test. Only you are guiding you through these courses of life. Only you are giving yourself a spiritual spanking that you really will listen to. You can hear spiritual spankings from me all day long, but it's going to go in one ear and out the other for the most part until you come back again and hear me say something. But what I'm trying to establish is I want you to learn that you are it. You are the I am. You are me, I am you. You are we, I am us. We are all. If you start handling your business, it helps me. If I start handling my business, it helps you. I'm handling my business. I'm starting to change my life, practice what I preach, and doing things differently every day since May 23rd, 2016. 1 year challenge for myself. I'm doing it differently. And look what's happening. I'm helping people. And all I'm doing is just trying to do my life differently. It's not magic. It's not like, what happened? It's that I set myself up on a course of changing every day, because I know that if I don't, change comes in like a roaring lion. That change comes in like a freaking earthquake and shakes the shit out of me until I want to like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? Change? What the hell is this? What do you mean I'm getting kicked out of my apartment? Oh, shit, that happened overnight. No, it didn't. Let's wake up. We're waking up together. I'm willing to put my patterns out there. I'm willing to open up my vulnerability. Do you know, vulnerability, I'm risking being vulnerable with all of you because I want you to come along. I want you to be vulnerable. I want you to step up. I want you to be able to see your best self. I care about that. Deeper relationships, honesty to yourself, less defensive, less lonely, less isolation, more accountable, more courage, more sensitive, more tender-hearted, more security, less strife. That's what happens when you start being vulnerable. You begin to attract the right kind of people into your life. Being vulnerable begins to help you to understand. It helps you to open up. It helps you to learn what you can expect. And you don't put false expectations on your own self. I'm telling you, it is really hard to work on being something that you're not. Super hard. It's like trying to be quiet in a movie theater. If anybody ever goes to the movies with me, they're going to be like, shh. We've all made the mistake of telling somebody something that's personal, that we felt we shouldn't have. We end up getting hurt, and we end up getting a little bit betrayed or backstabbed or judged. But holy shit, that's part of being a human being. Don't let it close you off. I failed at 26 years old, and I've realized that was putting me into a pattern of repeating myself that was preventing me just from that one extra layer of intimacy. I'm not going to let it do it anymore, because I recognized it, realized it, and I'm getting past it. And the way I did it was to be vulnerable. That was my answer. To open up, take a leap of faith, and to say, shit, I'm going to be vulnerable. And then if the person doesn't accept me or doesn't see it the same way, I'm not going to judge them. I'm just happy that I got to share and I got to face that part of me and move forward. I found resolution. Resolution. You're going to find it a lot easier to empathize with people too when you become more vulnerable. You're going to find it much more easy to empathize with people and to elevate into the fourth dimension. A fourth dimensional interaction of empathy. Empathy is up in that fourth dimension when you begin to empathize. Sympathy is about pain. Empathy is about possibility. Empathy is about seeing something, being there for somebody. Sympathy is about wondering what it was like and living vicariously with your own experience on theirs in the past. Right? When I sympathize, it's my eyes. When I empathize, it's through yours. So you begin to humanize yourself. You begin to look like a human. You begin to look like a true human, a humane human, a being. You begin to become a being, a higher being, a highly evolved being, an advanced being, a being of free will, a being of free choice, a being that's beyond the power of an angel. See, everybody's looking to angels, everybody's looking to angel numbers, but do you realize the being that resides inside of you is bigger than an angel? Come on. You were made in the likeness and image of a divine creator, initiator, architect, grand designer. You were made in the image of that. An angel is a messenger. And they're bringing messages from source. I'm happy to see them. But recognize what is inside of you. Recognize the spark of life. Recognize the breath, the power of mindfulness, meditation, many meditations, and being here in the now. Stop loathing today for yesterday. Accept yourself for who you are. Begin to guide yourself and nurture yourself, right? Otherwise, it's life after life. If you don't do your diligence today, if you don't study for your test that you're going to grade and you're going to turn in and you're going to get prepared for that exam down the road of life, if you don't do that and grade it well and know that you did your work, the only person that's going to lose is you, right? When you eat something that is unhealthy, that is going to hurt you and harm your body and shorten your life, guess what? The only person that's doing it is you. That's right. I'm not trying to spank you. I'm not trying to depress you. I'm just trying to help you. Help you wake up. Wake up and cut the lights on. Hallelujah, baby. I'm talking about it. And then we're going to begin to talk about different things, about getting out of this material world of fear. And the way you do that, getting past guilt and shame. Because guilt is such a common unconscious mechanism that it tends to sabotage all of the finest efforts that we have for this soul path. And if you sense something's holding you back in life and you have recurring bad luck, or you feel like you're a victim, or the life is just kind of out of your hands and you're holding your head down and you're feeling uninvolved, you got one of those little tiny grains of sand stuck under your bed, hiding, making you repeat that pattern. A little bit of remorse actually puts me on course. You want to hear that again? A little bit of remorse puts me on course. Because it's nice to know that I'm empathetic of self, that I can feel a little bit of remorse for bad judgment. When I no longer have remorse for judgment, then I'm wondering what the hell the body's doing, because it's being secret, it's going AWOL. And I want to know what that body's doing, because I'm the being in charge. I'm the big boss. The body is my employee. Let's start acting like it. Everybody, you are a big boss. I am you are the big boss and your body is your employee. Start treating it like a good employee. You need to get a job done. Let's do it, right? So we're moving forward. We're finding our way out of this. We're going to go into the 3D, full on, get our foundation built, bottom up, and then we're going to meet it in the heart, and then we're going to come top down, and we're going to have this vessel ready, and then we're going to start addressing the problems that come upon us. But I've just felt for 2017 to get this kicked off on this 9-year cycle that we need to break ground. You got to get that ground ready to plant those seeds. And that's what I'm doing to myself, through myself, and you are with me in this. We're standing side by side. We're doing it together. And yes, I've done it with people for 20 years. Coached, counseled, in all kinds of good stuff, helping people get to that path, all the while ignoring my own shit. Wounded worker, right here. Hands up, ignoring my own shit, but helping a shitload of people. And it's okay. That's judgment, that's the body. We're moving forward. We're looking into forgiveness and love and operating from a place of above. All right. This is just an impromptu, spirit-led talk that I wanted to throw out there and get out there for you guys. Just trying to be observant of when I'm told to do something or when I feel led. I'm surrendering this vessel to a higher calling. Peace, light, and love. And if you need any directions or any coaching, please contact me at my email or any of the links I have in my About Me. We're going to do this side by side. I will see you on the other side.